This right here is the Shure SM7B, a super popular microphone. You've probably seen it in most podcasts. If you've ever seen a video clip, they're using this microphone. But a microphone you might not have heard of is the Earthwor Ethos, which is right here. Throughout this video, I'm going to be going back and forth between the audio of these microphones so you can hear for yourself which you would prefer. Can you guess which mic I've been using for this intro? It was actually the Earthwor Ethos. Now throughout the video, I'm going to be switching between both mics, and I'll put a tag in the bottom corners to let you know which is the mic you're hearing right now. So many people go for the Shure SM7B probably because you see it everywhere, but it also does sound great, and it's really good at noise rejection. That's because the Shure SM7B is a dynamic microphone in a cardioid pattern. But there are some other ramifications to being a dynamic mic like that, which we'll get to in a second. The Earthwor Ethos, on the other hand, is a condenser microphone, but it's made for broadcast situations. So it has a supercardioid pattern and also tries to reject some of the room noise. Let's talk about hardware design. The Shure SM7B is an iconic microphone. It was the microphone that Michael Jackson used to record Thriller, and you just see it everywhere. It does come with two windscreens. This is usually the windscreen you see on some of those video podcasts, although it does come with a larger close talking windscreen. I actually prefer this one when I'm using it. Cuts down on some of those plosives. Comes in a nice matte black, but that's the only color it comes with. And it has an XLR connection down the stalk of the microphone, which again can provide for a clean look. Otherwise, it does have this cable that's kind of on the outside, which I've found makes me leery to actually travel with it. I'm just a little leery about this cable sticking out the side. It's kind of thin. It's never broken on me, but it's one of the things that I would actually prefer a hardware design like the Earthwor Ethos. I think the Earthwor Ethos is another great looking microphone. It comes in this stainless steel color, or you can get it in matte black. There's no cables on the outside. It just has the direct XLR connection on the bottom, which I've found using a 90-degree XLR helps keep those cables a little more tucked in. The Earthwor Ethos comes with one windscreen. It's a little thinner than the SM7B, so I try not to get too close to it. Otherwise, you're going to hear a lot of mouth sounds and plosives. But if you're at a good distance and angle from it, it can sound great, and you don't get all those plosives. Now, the Shure SM7B does have these little screws on the side, so you can change the angle right on the microphone in addition to the arm. But the Earthwor Ethos comes with this ball joint. I love this ball joint because it gives you tons of flexibility to get the microphone placed exactly how you want. Now, the construction of the Shure SM7B is also very rugged, meaning if you're in a recording environment and someone's messing with the microphone or moving it around, you're less likely to hear some of those movements as someone's talking. As you can see in some video podcasts, people will grab the mic and move it around, and so the Shure SM7B is better at kind of rejecting those movements and hand motions. The Earthwor Ethos is also constructed very ruggedly. You might hear some of the hand motions if someone's moving it while they're talking, but as you can see, even as I was moving it around, it still rejects a lot of that noise. And if you have a good microphone arm, then you don't have to worry about it. We'll put links in the video description to some mic arms for both of these options. Now, one of the things you have to think about if you're in a studio with multiple in-person guests or just in a noisy environment is how good a mic does at rejecting background noise. One of the advantages of the Shure SM7B is it does really well at some of that background noise rejection. We're going to do a side-by-side test. I'm going to play some background construction noise on a speaker, and you can hear what it sounds like from both the Shure SM7B and the Earthwor Ethos. So I put some construction noise in the background. If you record on a busy street, you might be hearing something like this. And right now, this is the Shure SM7B test. Riverside is the best way to record online and with remote guests and get high quality video and audio. And now here's testing the Earthwor Ethos with the same construction noise. Riverside is the best way to record online and with remote guests to get high quality video and audio. If background noise is something you have to deal with often, I recommend checking out this video above where we talk about removing some of that bad audio or fixing bad audio. Now, when it comes to overall sound, the Shure SM7B actually has a couple switches on the back where you can actually do a low cut, meaning some of the low end or low frequencies will be lessened in the microphone live as you record, and there's also a mid-high boost. Now, the Ethos does not have those kind of switches on the back, but because it's a condenser microphone, I find it reproduces my voice really well. It still has some bright highs and color to the tone, while still getting all that deep low end that you would like to get for a spoken word or podcast. This is the Shure SM7B with the mid-frequency switch enabled, so this boosts some of those mid-frequencies, might help with clarity in your voice, especially if you have a lower voice and you're live streaming, then this will help the sound of the microphone be more understandable as you record. Now, this is the Shure SM7B with the low-cut filter enabled, so some of those low ends are being rolled off and the mid-range frequencies still boosted. This will provide a brighter tone, definitely helps with understandability, but you might start losing some of the body in your voice depending on your voice timbre and recording style. This is the Shure SM7B with just the low-cut switch applied. Again, depending on your voice and timbre, it might help remove some of that rumbliness or low-end frequency and help with clarity. The Shure SM7B is now totally on the flat response again, and hopefully by this time you've decided which microphone sound you might like better. Now you have to think about cost. Now these microphones have actually changed a little bit in price. The Ethos used to be $800 and it's been cut in price to $400, matching the Shure SM7B price. So both of these microphones cost $400. We'll put links in the video description, but it seems like an even price choice. But here's what you have to keep in mind. The Shure SM7B is a dynamic microphone that requires powerful preamps and a lot of gain just to get volume. The audio interface I'm using right now is a Sound Devices Mix Pre 3. It has very powerful preamps, but that audio interface costs anywhere from $800 to $1,400 right now. If you wanted to buy one audio interface for the Shure SM7B, you'd need something like an Apollo Twin, which again is approaching $1,000. So while the microphone only costs $400, the audio interface you're going to need to get is going to be in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some other alternatives you can get is with a cheaper audio interface. You can get something called a cloud lifter or FET head. That's something that goes in between the microphone and the audio interface that will boost the gain cleanly so you don't get that shh sound of that noise. If you try to boost the gain on the Shure SM7B with an audio interface like this, the Scarlett 2i2, you're going to start getting some of the noise or the shh sound in the back of the recording. That's why you need something like the cloud lifter or FET head, which is about $100 or $150 depending where you get it. So even with a cheaper audio interface that's $150 plus a cloud lifter, you're looking at $300 for the audio interface and then $400 for the microphone. So you're closer to about $700 in investment if you want to use the SM7B. Now the Earthworks Ethos, because it is a condenser microphone, it does not require all that gain and powerful preamps. You can power the Ethos with an inexpensive audio interface like the Scarlett 2i2 for $150, and all you have to do is enable phantom power, which again is available on lots of those audio interfaces, and that's it. That's really all you need. You won't need any of those cloud lifters or FET heads, and then it's more flexible, especially if you're traveling, if you need to plug it into multiple different kinds of audio interfaces. So if you want the microphone that you see in every video podcast, that is the Shure SM7B. Make sure you understand that the $400 microphone will also require a powerful audio interface, and make sure you keep that in the budget. But the Earthworks Ethos is a great option. It looks great. I really like the stainless steel look, and it's a little more flexible when it comes to audio interfaces, and I do love that ball joint head. So let us know in the comments, which microphone do you prefer? And if you were going to upgrade your setup, which microphone would you hope to get? Leave your comment below, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Riverside channel. We have content on the best USB mics, video switchers, how to build a video podcast setup, and a ton more. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next video.